everybody, this is Arcapa12, and today I am recording a video that I am 99% sure is about to be demonetized as soon as I upload it, and that's okay, because frankly, I'm doing this for the vibes, I'm doing this for the nostalgia, and I'm doing this because it seems like fun. This is the Ash Ketchum versus Yugi Moto death battle, and yeah, no, I feel like this is gonna be one of those ones where, like, we're just rolling along with it. I'm probably not going to make a dime off of this video, but that's okay. I'm doing this for the entertainment purposes. I thought that this would be really fun. I haven't seen this one yet. I kind of forgot this one came out. When did they come out? It came out recently, like within the last couple weeks, I think. 2 months, never mind. Okay, so yeah, I'm a little behind on Death Battle, obviously. Yeah, so we're just gonna go with it, you know. It's fine, you know. Sometimes I make videos just because it seems like a fun thing to do, and while I would like to get paid for it, I also am doing this for the entertainment purposes. Link will be in the description below if you want to watch this without my commentary, because we'll be pausing it, we'll be talking about it. And if I were to put in a prediction, I'm going to make the assumption that they're going to be using the dual system that allows individuals to literally take damage. And if that's the case, I'm going to have to give this to Yugi. I'm going to have to say that Yugi's probably going to be the one that wins, because the number of attacks that we see in Yu-Gi-Oh! That look like they should be cataclysmic in nature outstrips everything that Pokemon could do. With the exception of a few, like, you know, Palkia and Dialga and maybe Giratina and a few of the others, Mewtwo. Like, if you're just going off of what Ash himself has at his disposal, I feel like Yugi, if you're taking the hologram system to the next level and actually allowing it to physically interact with the real world, which we do see sometimes happen in the original Yu-Gi-Oh series, I'm gonna have to say that Yugi's gonna take this. But there's only one way to find out. So without further ado, let's get started.
Right, Pikachu?
Don't get ahead of yourself.
Oops. I kind of forgot I was already zoomed in.
Ash Ketchum versus Yugi Moto.
The biggest question from the playground, Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh? He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
This is a big episode. Just look at how long it is. So thanks to our sponsor, Mad Mushroom, for helping us make it happen.
Yeah.
Hello there. Welcome to the world of Pokemon.
All the kids get their first one at age 10. If you don't sleep in like Ash Ketchum from Pallet Town.
Ash wanted to be a Pokemon master, though he didn't really know what that meant yet.
How about taking down your rivals to be the very best, like no one ever was? Better than Gary and his dumb groupies.
Well, Ash knew he'd find his answers at the Pokemon League tournament.
You know, I gotta say, I never understood how a 10-year-old like Gary could pull that many groupies, like, right off the bat. Like, maybe if he was rich, I understand that his grandfather happens to be, you know, the premier Pokemon professor, Professor Oak, but that doesn't fully explain how Gary was so freaking popular. Also, that's like, considering the size of Pallet Town, that's probably like half of the females, like the half of the young teenage girls in Pallet Town that just drove off with Gary. Also, how is a 10-year-old driving a freaking car? There's the Pokemon world is nearly lawless, okay? You're allowing 10-year-olds to carry around monsters that are capable of changing climates and causing massive devastation and using them to battle each other with very little rules or supervision most of the time. Like, you're going off of an honor code system. And Gary just happens to be like the thing that I'm highlighting right here because of the fact that there is so much that does not make sense about that boy.
So Oak hooked him up with the electric mouse, Pikachu, and went, "He's your problem now, stupid."
Pikachu was a lot. The new duo had a rocky start.
Oh my god. New age Pokemon fans never got to experience what of a dick Pikachu was in the first like 3 episodes. Or how much of a problem he was for most of the rest of the series for the first season when it came to like his attitude. He got a lot more agreeable as various other series came on, but that first season, like up until like the halfway point of that first season, Pikachu, probably right around the time that Togepi hatched, Pikachu was just he was a sassy individual, and he didn't lose all of that as the years went on, but he lost enough of it that he became less of a problem as an actual Pokemon. But the beginning was rough.
But after an intense first day together, the rest, as they say, is history.
25 seasons, over 1,200 episodes, and the cornerstone of 2000s culture.
It's hard to believe that Ash has been in fewer, almost as many episodes as Luffy from One Piece. It's hard to believe that Ash has been in like almost as many episodes. There's almost as many episodes of Ash's journey in Pokemon as there are One Piece. I never thought to think about that. That's shocking. And at the same time, One Piece isn't done. Ash is done. Wow. Okay.
Ash spent decades as a 10-year-old on the great Pokemaniac journey.
We should note we are prioritizing the anime that Ash is from, which often differs from the original games that inspired it.
Ash is equipped with tons of Pokeballs and an all-knowing Pokedex. That's also a Pokemon. But in a fight, Ash usually chooses Pikachu. Give the yellow red enough voltage and you'll regret it. Even ground types that would be immune to electric attacks in the games can't stop what this Pikachu dishes out.
Yet somehow Ash is just fine after repeatedly getting zapped by this same electricity. Over time, Pikachu learned Volt Tackle.
Yeah, and that's one reason why like I feel like Ash himself is transcended to immortality because of his wish of Ho-Oh on Ho-Oh when he first saw Ho-Oh at the beginning of the series, which is he wished to be on a Pokemon journey forever. That's the running theory, and that's why he's 10 years old and is able to survive things that literally should kill everything. Like most Pokemon that take a full blast from Pikachu, and granted, most people would argue, oh, Pikachu's not using all of his electric power on Ash. Maybe, maybe not. But Ash has been in the middle of that exact same thing many, many times, and has walked away mostly fine, where most other Pokemon, including ground types, like they said, fainted.
Electro Web, Electro Ball, and
Pikachu, use Thunderbolt! The perfect attack for outgoing flamboyant thieves and air balloons. Looks like they're blasting off again.
So clearly the anime doesn't follow the game rules. Like when Pikachu shot himself with his own thunder while on Swellow, who, you know, is vulnerable to lightning.
But
right?
Somehow they used thunder as a super armor. He even learned how to deflect attacks by just spinning really fast. Whee!
Speaking of fast, Pikachu has intercepted lightning, but Quick Attack increases that speed even more.
And his Iron Tail really pairs well with Ash's offensive style. The guy plays crazy, opting for big damage over stalling.
Ash's style is so unusual that when a robot scanned his tactics, it exploded.
As the great philosophers put it,
I forgot
if it
about that.
works, is it still stupid?
That's honestly a fair quote. I've used that several times in the past when it comes to a lot of different things. If it works, is it still stupid? No, it's not. It worked. That's all you need to know.
Ash and Pikachu's bond is magnetic and brought them new allies. Misty, Brock, Serena, just to name a few. Underneath the stubbornness and crispy bikes, they are loyal friends.
Just like Ash's Pokemon. They're not just collecting dust in a shiny hunting box. Ash's League ID won't let him carry more than 6 at a time, but if he needs them, they'll all come running.
Water types like Squirtle and Lapras are key in seafaring fights, and Ash can combine their water attacks with Glalie Ice Beam.
One time, his Weasel got frozen while using Aqua Jet, which is fine. Now he's using Ice Aqua Battering Ram.
Grass types like Bulbasaur and Torterra induce status effects and heal with Synthesis.
But Sceptile's a menace. Yeah, so you got a big, scary Darkrai. Eat this Leaf Blade, Smeargle victim! Or that's what I would say if Tobias did an action replay of frickin' Latios. Give my man a win, 4Kids.
Well, 4Kids just did the localization. They didn't write the show.
They just get me heated. Almost as much as Infernape's Flare Blitz. Then I'll set my Inferno to overdrive, get my revenge, and Incineroar. Haha!
Ash had a fiery passion for reaching the top.
Boomstick. No. No, bad. Those are all bad.
ASAP, but Charizard wasn't on board. Pursuing pride over packs, Ash lost the Viridian Force for the trees and fumbled the Indigo League.
Harsh lesson, but one he needed. Ash started bonding with Pokemon at a deeper level, and that friendship motivated them to dodge light speed moves like Solar Beam and Psybeam.
Charizard came around too. He's the last one you want to see on the field. Even if you have a Blastoise like Gary, Ash will call for the most unexpected signature move.
Seismic Toss!
Also, when it explodes on impact, it explicitly absorbs sunlight for its beam. Diglett said it's hit faster than light speed. Okay. I forgot that Diglett had that ability, that it could go underground faster than light speed, which is ridiculous. But I would imagine like a solar beam, if it exploded on impact, it would probably knock Diglett out of the ground, which would allow us to actually see what the hell is underneath it.
The people's elbow of Pokemon. Charizard's so strong, his flamethrower melts boulders. The Pokemon world is wild.
Ash's Pokédex.
Yeah, there's no explanation for all the BS. Like, okay, so I saw someone, there's a little bit of tangent. I saw somebody who was like talking about the fact that Machamp was capable of punching with a force that could send, like it was capable of moving mountains per punch. And they were like, yeah, it basically could accelerate a Mack truck from 0 to 600 kilometers per hour in less than a second. I think that was what they calculated. And I'm like, at that point, it doesn't matter what you are. You're paced. You may have been an Onyx. You are paced now. He has turned you to sand. So I'm like, and then Arcanine, capable of running 2,000 to 3,000 miles over the course of a night. That's capable of crossing 2/3 to almost the entire continent of the United States, or country of the United States. Excuse me, entirety of like from like California to frickin' Delaware in the course of a night. I'm like, Pokemon is ridiculous, okay? And I'm fairly certain that these cannot actually be true. Also, Charizard's supposed to be smaller than Ash, just so you know. Like, Charizard's, I think, like 5'4" canonically. And yet, in the anime, Ash is capable of perfectly riding him, and he's clearly over 7 feet tall. So, like, just don't think about it. Just don't think about it. It's gonna make your head hurt.
Spells it out. Vanillix causes blizzards. Magikarp leaps over mountains and
Professor Oak's Pokemon Holocaster is referenced by James in XY92. XY05 and 86, these episodes and segments are shown to be broadcast on TV, proving them canon. Okay.
into space. Dusknoir pulls souls into the spirit world.
Oh, and Pikachu cleared a storm as wide as an island. Gotta catch 'em all. Surfetch, Butterfree, Heracross, Scraggy, Lycanroc, Palpitoad, Torkoal, Snivy.
With new regions, soar new flying types like Pidgeot. On land, Ash has physical offense like Melmetal and Crocodile, and Gibble will drop Draco Meteors on anyone, but mainly Piplup.
You want physical? Look at Ash. This twerp somehow carried around a Cosmoem, which canonically weighs over a ton. Oh, and this huge log that's basically a whole tree? He chucked it like it was nothing.
That's what I'm saying. See, Ash is incapable of doing these things unless he's not a human anymore. He is a god, okay? Ho-Oh turned him into a god with that wish.
Ash can choose his own hands if he wants, and he does a lot. Maybe his secret is watching the Minnesota Vikings.
Resilience is the bare minimum to HMO1 cut it in the tall grass. Humans and Pokemon must protect and enrich each other's lives.
Like Mimey, the Mr. Mime back home who
Oh, boy.
mind boggles you with Reflect, Light Screen, and Psychic. Yep, that Mr. Mime, the stepdad who Ash caught in a Pokeball and brought home. Oh, so that's how it works.
I kind of forgot that Ash technically owns Mr. Mime. For whatever reason, I just, in my mind, I kind of like Mandela affected my, which by the way, that reminds me, the Mandela catalog is coming back. But anyway, getting back to Pokemon, I kind of Mandela affected the idea that like, Mr. Mime just kind of wandered into Dahlia's, I believe that's Ash's mom's name. Someone commented on it on my my I don't want to be a magical girl episode recently, but I kind of just thought that I kind of just remember that Mr. Mime just showed up one day, but I forgot that I guess technically speaking, Ash did catch Mr. Mime and gave it to his mom. So Mr. Mime is technically Ash's to use.
Ash figured out new ways to bond with his pals with Aura. It's a life force that interacts with souls and links Ash with Lucario.
This jackal
Actually, you know what? Now that I said that, I feel like I'll get roasted if I'm actually wrong about that. So I'm gonna look it up. I don't like being wrong. Yeah, okay. Yeah, he caught Mr. Mime. Okay, yeah, that's right.
excels at CQC and shoots steel beams and aura spheres. And with Mega Evolution, Lucario's power surges enough to defeat champion Cynthia's Garchomp.
A Mega would have been handy at the Safari Zone when Ash accidentally caught 30 Tauros. And he keeps hugging them. Ash, they're bulls.
Ash genuinely loves his little guys, but boy does it suck to see him lose the Pokemon League over and over again. Kid, just turn the hat backwards and lock in.
Ash's strength is not in battle theory, but his nurtured bonds. He knows Pokemon feelings better than anyone. With Greninja, Ash learned to synchronize their senses and movements, transforming him into Ash Greninja.
It comes with a huge power increase, but there's a catch. Ash shares Greninja's pain. A small price to pay for the ultimate water shuriken.
Ash Greninja ran the ones with Champion Diantha's Mega Gardevoir. And just a normal Gardevoir can conjure black holes.
Ash's Pokemon and teamwork get along like rice balls and jelly-filled donuts.
See, and this is the thing that makes this this fight so interesting and so hard to judge, because all the things that I'm talking about right now obviously could be seen as going counter to what I said earlier about Yu-Gi-Oh! Having more varied and cataclysmic effects. Yes, I'm not saying a Pokemon doesn't. I'm saying Yu-Gi-Oh! Has more and bigger ones. I'm sorry, but Charizard is not going to be able to stop Slifer the Sky Dragon. I don't see that happening. That's the point I'm trying to make here. If Ash had Machamp and Yugi pulled out Obelisk the Tormentor, then maybe we got a fight on our hands.
They saved the world from Lysander, who tried to kill all life.
Mind control thanks to their bonds. James Inkay similarly escaped Malamar's control, the strongest hypnotic Pokemon. Ah, interesting.
They fought the Giants, the Reggie kind, not the New York ones, who halted Reggie Gigas, who can tow entire regions.
Ash's team battled Steven Stone and Alon, who fought the terraforming primal forms of Groudon and Kyogre.
Ah, don't get me started on Alon. Ash did everything right, but no, Greninja still lost to his Charizard after only getting hit 3 times. How does Blast Burn beat Water Shuriken? Get your type charts right, 4Kids.
Boomstick 4Kids weren't even around anymore when this aired. Regardless, after his loss at Kalos, Ash traveled to Alola and beyond to train. And thanks to some really delicious soup, his new Gengar Gigantamaxed.
Hide you, Gengar! He haunts foes with G-Max Terror, or even swallows them up. I bet it smells nasty in there.
Ash and Pikachu also scored a buff with their Z move. All they need is a power ring, some JoJo poses, and Thunderbolt will evolve into
10 million volt Thunderbolt! This Rainbow Lightning is their ace. You see this coming? You're cooked. Absorb electricity? Cooked. Fused with an Ultra Beast? Cooked.
Ash journeyed so much that monsters from another dimension are nothing to him. Naganadel is a poisonous sniper, and Solgaleo is basically the Sun God, a legendary Pokemon whose Sunsteel Strike lights up the universe.
Ash got a god in his bag for just being a nice dude.
See, and that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying about like the ridiculousness of Pokemon. I don't know whether or not Solgaleo is Ash's. I never saw that series, so I don't know whether or not that counts. If it does, Solgaleo might be able to start like competing against some of the, like, maybe the Winged Dragon of Ra, since Ra is also considered like the sun god in Egyptian mythology, I believe. So like at that point, then you've got Sun God versus Sun God. Maybe that could potentially, like, this is going to be a tough match. Like, I still think Yugi's going to take it. I still think there are more canonically stronger attacks from some of Yugi's other creatures that could counter or outpower anything Ash could throw at them. But Ash has a few things in his pocket that throw that into question. So like that, like, I don't know. I think that Yugi's still going to take it, but I don't know for sure.
Smell you later, Gary.
In fact, when Ash and friends band together, they can halt Dialga's Roar of Time. And Dialga literally controls the concept of time. Is there a legendary Pokemon he hasn't befriended?
But it all started with Pikachu, so it was gonna end with Pikachu. In the Tournament of Champions, and Alon, Ash faced the #1 trainer. Finally, after 3,000 years, we're free! 4 kids, let my boy win! Yes!
Sure. Ash did his best, and he had no regrets. Now free to hand over his torch to new bright-eyed trainers.
That's not 100% true. Technically speaking, Ash has won a couple of different championships before that point, but I understand Boomstick's excitement.
Ash realized that, to him, a Pokemon Master was someone who was friends with every Pokemon. So he and Pikachu threw a stick in the air and walked the way it landed, because in the world of Pokemon, the journey continues.
That's just reminding me of the two, like, Ultimate Pokemon raps that, you know, I reacted to a while ago. That's what that's reminding me of right there. Specifically the one from Nerd Out, because that actually has like the singer from the original Pokemon theme as the ending part of it. But also Cam Steady's is really iconic as well because of the way Cam decided to end the rap. And it's just thinking about that makes me cry. I'm tearing up right now. I'm fighting tears. But yeah, no, that was a really good solid breakdown of 25 years of amazing experiences that millennials literally grew up with. I think that's the reason why I'm crying a little bit.
If you want to travel the world like Ash or look as rad as Yugi, then we've got the threads for you.
This battle is sponsored by Quince. Quince makes Italian remarks, makes
nope.
Go to Day Returns.
Free shipping.
That's cool.
Many a theorist have tried to solve the mystery of ancient Egypt. What was the secret to such a glorious civilization?
Time travel? The divine hand? Aliens? Nah, they were gamers.
Egyptians played games with sorcery. These magical ceremonies punished dark hearts with swift death. The Shadow Game.
No, Wiz. They were banished to the Shadow Realm. Wink.
Sadly, the way of the Shadow Games was lost across time and the pieces of the Millennium Puzzle. It's said the one who solves the puzzle would pass judgment on evil. And in the modern day, Yugi Moto reassembled it and wished for a friend.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Oh, turn that jam up! Yugi was a shy kid that helped run his grandpop's game shop.
But little did he know that completing the puzzle would link his spirit to an ancient pharaoh.
Okay, I like the fact that they're showing off the unhinged version of Yu-Gi-Oh! From like season 0. For people who don't know, because most people haven't seen season 0, and I myself have only seen like bits and pieces of it. But there is a version of Yugi where, like, for instance, the entire reason why Taya follows Yugi around is because Taya was being assaulted. Potentially a little bit more than just like your standard assault. I'm not going to say it because if I can get monetized, I'm going to try and avoid that kind of context, but I'm sure you probably can somewhat guess what I'm talking about. And Yugi just straight up offed those guys. He didn't banish them to the Shadow Realm. He sent them to Braindeadville. And the entire idea of him being the king of games is that, like, he was the king of all games. It wasn't just Duel Monsters. Duel Monsters just happened to be a game in the setting of Yu-Gi-Oh! But the original premise of Yu-Gi-Oh! Was he was going to be doing all kinds of things. That's one reason why, like, you have things like the Dungeon Dice Monsters game and whatnot, to try and, like, tap into that little aspect a little bit more. To try and bring it back to the original core concept. But the entire thing about Yu-Gi-Oh! Was like the card game aspect of season 0 and the season 0 manga was so popular that the entire series was restructured, and from season 1 on focused exclusively on the card game. But the original version of Yugi was about all games, and he was the pharaoh Yami was unhinged. That right there, like, he passed judgment on people. That's what they just said. His judgment oftentimes caused him to shadow ban people. Typically speaking, shadow ban them permanently. Like, you know how Seto Kaiba's mind broke at the beginning of the first season? Like the first, like, 2 episodes after Exodia attacked? Yeah, Yugi banished the darkness in his soul. And from that point on, Kaiba was just a dick. He wasn't evil. Wasn't like malefic or anything like that. He was just a dick. In the original version of that, Kaiba would have potentially died. And I think in the original version, Kaiba has green hair, not brown hair. I forget. But I think Kaiba in the original version actually has green hair, like freaking lime green hair, from season 0. So that gives you an idea of, like, how the series changed. So, like, yeah, I kind of like the fact that they are kind of showing little bits and pieces from season 0, which, as far as I'm aware, is almost impossible to find, but I'm sure it's out there. I'm sure you can find it if you look hard enough. But I like the fact that they're throwing little things about that, like this scene from Yami and whatnot.
Yami, always willing to lend Yugi a hand, and always on demon time while doing so. He's anime Jigsaw. Yami wants to play a shadow game.
Whether it's griddle air
right
hockey,
here, right here.
Mario Party with chloroform, or the game that would take his world and ours by storm.
See, all this animation right here is season 0. I'm going to rewind that so you hear what they say about it.
A hand, and always on demon time while doing so. He's anime Jigsaw. Yami wants to play a shadow game.
Whether it's griddle air hockey, Mario Party with chloroform, or the game that would take his world and ours by storm. Duel Monsters.
It's a summoner's war. Time to send monsters to the graveyard and take your foe down to 0 life points.
When Yugi's grandpa was kidnapped by the deranged CEO Seto Kaiba, Yugi knew it was time to knock him down the only way he knows how. Playing a children's card game.
And for his L, Kaiba was given a penalty game. Lose or cheat against Yami at your own peril. With the puzzle, Yami can punish you in some seriously messed up ways. Illusions of being set on fire, swapping your soul, or the infamous Mind Crush.
I am honestly surprised that they are factoring in season 0 into this. Like, I'm shocked that they're factoring season 0 into this analysis and not just the straight up regular anime.
The Millennium Puzzle does far more than force hallucinations. It brings monsters to reality, forms barriers, manipulates probability, and seals away spirits.
You can't buy this.
Use penalty games at will to incapacitate victims. Yami doesn't resort to them unless he wins the game or catches cheating.
And 6 other Millennium items are juiced up by ghosts.
Despite Yami's retribution, Yugi wasn't aware of this darker half. Yami had amnesia, so he didn't know himself either. But after a run-in with enemy Millennium Ring user Dark Bakura and some seriously hardcore LARPing, Yugi and Yami learned each other's shtick and made the dynamic duo.
With friends Taya, Tristan, and their left leg Joey, Yugi and Yami were ready for anything.
Because Yugi had a great early deck. Monsters for offense, spells for effects, and traps for setups. Oh, and Exodi... Oh, there they go.
Okay, if Yugi's deck is so good, why isn't it the meta? Put me in, coach. Face my 2,000 card deck.
Don't be too quick to judge. Yugi's a very clever strategist. His style works best at maximizing the use of so-called terrible cards.
Yeah, cool story, Wiz, but what's he gonna do about the 3 blue eyes Kaiba's got aiming at his dome?
Simple. Summon the monster card Karibo and have it multiply. With a 1,000 strong meat shield, a dragon's breath is a gentle breeze.
Well, okay. Didn't know Yugi had that dog in him, but I'm about brute force. Buster Blader and Celtic Guardian are sick, nasty swordsmen. Summon Skull shoots bolts of lightning, and the giant soldier of stone can destroy moons.
Time Wizard's better.
I like how they're like making it sound like the giant soldier of stone is like all powerful when literally the moon, like that whole episode needs its own breakdown, but like the moon was just, it was an it was an item. It was a physical item on the battlefield, yes. But the giant soldier of stone can't attack a magic card. Oh, old school Yu-Gi-Oh! Did not play by any rules except for the ones it decided to make up for episode to episode.
It's a living clock that fast forwards or rewinds a local area of time, turning monsters to infants or wizards into wise sages.
Speaking of wizardry, you can't have a Yugi deck without his right hand, Dark Magician, and his apprentice, Dark Magician Girl.
Both are masters of dark magic, and Yugi often pairs them with the damage redirecting magic cylinder. Now that's thinking with portals.
There's support monsters too. Catapult Turtle is a bot with a cannon that literally launches other monsters. And when Yugi comboed it with Gaia and Swords of Revealing Light, which immobilizes monsters, they brought down an entire fortress.
This is what I'm talking about. These kind of things don't work like that.
Wait, that's not how the card game works.
Yeah.
Is he cheating?
Well, we're prioritizing the manga and anime over anything else, which can differ from the real world card game.
Yugi also has tons of spell cards. Monster
Can differ. No, these are completely like the way that Yugi plays the card game in the anime is 5D chess compared to what the card game is actually meant to be played as.
Which can differ from the real world card game.
Yugi also has tons of spell cards. Monster Reborn resurrects a fallen friend. Turn Jump is a time skip, and Pot of Greed lets Yugi draw 2 more cards, like Pot of Greed, which lets him draw 2 more cards, like...
If things get dicey, he has more trap cards to level the field, like Dimension Sphinx, which reflects damage directly back at the opponent's life points.
And if his monsters and life points get wiped, he can just press Ctrl-Z with Mirage Ruler to get them all back.
Pair these cards with Yugi and Yami's teamwork, and nothing could stand in their way. Not even the game's own creator, Pegasus.
I'm surprised they haven't mentioned yet about the fact that the heart of the cards is actually probability manipulation caused by the Millennium Puzzle. I'm surprised that they haven't yet like mentioned that, because the ironic thing about Yami Yugi is that in the original version, Yami Yugi punished cheaters, but the Millennium Puzzle literally is cheating.
Get this, Pegasus can read minds. So in their duel, Yugi and Yami kept swapping souls Freaky Friday style, trusting each other to pick up on the strategies they left behind. And the mind reader was stumped. Yeah, they cheated.
No, Pegasus was reading their minds. Regardless, Yugi and Yami are an excellent dueling pair. Yami trusts Yugi to improve on his plans, while Yugi expects Yami to be his bolder half.
They're not just smart. These card-slinging geeks are somehow expected to be fit enough to dodge lasers, resist getting their souls ripped out, and survive attacks from duel monsters. Even the most common duel monster can cause tsunamis, rain down meteors, and wreck cities.
And all of this...
And this is why I was saying that dual monsters technically are stronger than Pokemon. As they just said, the most common ones, some of the weakest ones, are capable of creating natural disasters.
Power culminated in Battle City, hosted by Kaiba Corp.
Because Kaiba really wanted that salty run back against his rival.
Salt only surpassed by Yami's biggest hater, Merrick, who wanted the 3 Egyptian god cards to take him out. These cards were Slifer, the Electric Dragon, Ra, the God Phoenix, and Obelisk, who strikes with the power of infinity.
This was a different ball game altogether, but Yugi was starting to stand on his own 2 feet.
So Yami and Yugi kept dueling on in a battle city that never wants to end. Or stop bullying Joey. But to claim the Egyptian gods, Yugi and Yami had to face them in duels, pulling off some ridiculously high IQ plays.
When battling Slifer, they used a handful of weak cards to create an infinite combo of attacks that went past the god's limits.
And later, Yugi combined Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl's magic into Black Burning magic, promptly defeating Ra.
This ain't new for the magicians. In the movie Bonds Beyond Time, they did something similar against Paradox. It's kinda crazy that together, the magicians can defeat the 10-star gods, which are way stronger than mid-tier monsters that are 5 to 9 stars.
Mid-tier cards aren't pushovers. Darkhold Dragon is a sentient black hole, planet alignment moves solar systems, and Jaden's Glow Neos destroyed a relativity field that spawned an entire universe.
Several feats use holographic monsters, but these monsters and their abilities become real without alteration through the Millennium items. Kaba, Dual Disc version 0.3, or excuse me, Dual Disc version 3, etc., making these feats applicable. That's what I was also saying, was that like if you're using the versions of the cards of the card game that actually causes physical effects, like legitimate physical effects and not just the holograms, then yeah, no, I can see that these things are going to be astronomically more powerful than anything Ash can throw at Yugi.
But at the top would be the great evil god Zork, who showed up to plunge existence into the realm of darkness. It was time for Yugi to finish the puzzle of who Yami really is.
If the monsters weren't real before, they sure were now. Everyone has soul energy, Ba, which manifests as Ka, or a spirit. When used in tandem with the bonds of his cards, Yugi can will dual monsters into reality, even drawing anyone he wishes by believing in the heart of the card.
This is what I was talking about. This is the probability manipulation I was talking about.
I knew it! He's been cheating all this time! He doesn't just make up rules, he's stacking his deck!
Not at all. For Yugi, drawing the card he needs isn't just luck, it's an actual skill that he developed. It's even expanded in following series like GX and 5Ds.
Okay, well, I'd be the king of games too if I could just decide I have a royal flush every round.
Whatever. Yami rediscovered his
No. Boomstick's right. Boomstick is absolutely right. The Millennium Puzzle is absolutely cheating because it is probability manipulation. It is altering the chances that Yugi is going to be able to draw the right card at the right time. There is nothing that says that he that there's nothing that directly contradicts that statement. There are other individuals like Wiz said that have learned techniques that mimic that, but when it comes to Yami Yugi specifically and the Millennium Puzzle, the Millennium items and the puzzle itself are capable of manipulating things so that way the deck ends up giving Yugi exactly what needs to be had at the exact time that it needs to be had. So he's not going to draw an item that he needs on turn 9, depending on how the duel goes in the first hand. He's going to draw it on turn 9, right when he needs it, right when it's necessary. And that comes from him not even shuffling the deck. Like the deck isn't touched outside of him drawing it after it gets inserted and shuffled for him. But the Millennium Puzzle, I don't know if it's reading the probability that things are happening. I don't know if it's like the zero system from Gundam, where like it's calculating all possible outcomes and then giving the most likely one to Yugi. I don't know whether or not it's analyzing the future. I don't know. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because the probability that Yugi draws the right card at the right time or near the right time every single time is astronomical. How many times has he been like, I need to do this. Like, this next card could win me the match. And he draws it, and he's like, it's time to end this. I'm like, how many times in the course of the anime did that happen? It probably like 100.
His Egyptian past, his multiple lifelong bonds, and his real name, Atem. Claiming his place as the ruler of the afterlife, Atem fused the Egyptian god cards to summon Harakti, the creator of light.
She's the ultimate duel monster who banished Zork and all of his scary darkness for good. The epitome of, screw you, I win.
No kidding, for Harakti created Yu-Gi-Oh's multiverse with that same light. Judgment had passed. Across many duels, evil was vanquished. There was only one more thing left to do.
A post-game boss duel between Yugi and Atem.
Their farewell was both climactic and bittersweet. Yugi had grown as a duelist and a person. His victory proved that he no longer needed Atem's help to be his bolder half.
Even when Atem was an entire dimension away or busy slapping the end of existence, he and Yugi would always be bros. Okay, it should have been me, not him. I'm sorry I called you a cheater. I was jealous. You're so cool.
Yugi moved.
I'm not denying that Atem is cool. I'm just saying that his puzzle is literally manipulating the probability that it's altering chance.
On to a career in game design and passed the torch to future duelists.
And also, before I let this finish up and we get to the actual fight, that's also the reason why the King of Games thing in Season 0 worked so well, is because that's how the Millennium Puzzle was supposed to work. Is it manipulated the dice rolls, it manipulated the card draws, it manipulated the probability of any game that Yugi is playing. So it's not just Duel Monsters, it's anything. It just, since Duel Monsters became the hyperfixation of the entire franchise, that just kind of got swept aside for the most part. So, like, canonically, I guess in Season 1 on, probability manipulation may not necessarily been the accurate term for what the Millennium Puzzle is capable of doing to the game. But again, I stand by my statement that the number of times Yugi drew the right card at the right time or near the right time is nigh impossible. And yet he did it. So I'm still leaning on the side that there's definitely the foundation, the hints of the original concept of the probability manipulation in the main franchise. They just don't call it that.
He would be remembered as the greatest duelist there ever was.
Except to Kaiba, who tried to ascend to the afterlife to rematch Atem. Goes to show you that money can't buy you happiness, but it sure can buy you a sweet rocket ship.
There will always be another story, another duel, another game, and you won't find yourself a better opponent than the King of Games.
The Battle of the Millennium is about to start, but we wouldn't be able to make it happen without some help from our friends at
Rake and if you
Lightweight will device.
No ads. Get to the fight.
The combatants are set, and
Get
we've
to the
run the
fight.
data through all possibilities.
Before we start, let's lay some ground rules.
We're treating this as a real-time fight, much like typical battles in the Pokemon anime and duels later on in the Yu-Gi-Oh anime. And given that the rules of Pokemon and Duel Monsters are clearly incompatible, we'll allow them to summon anything that's reasonably available to them.
It's time
Okay.
to death battle!
That's honestly fair. That's honestly fair. Wow.
You okay, Pikachu? This 4-on-4 is tricky. Hang in there!
You have Spirit, but I have Lightning Blade and Excalibur to boost my attack, and I set one card face down to end my turn.
Whoa! Okay, guys, it's our turn now. Pikachu, throw him off with quick attack. Everyone else, back him up.
I guess they're treating the trap and magic cards similar to the Pokemon items like potion and whatnot, and the Gigantamax rings and what is it, the Mega Evolutions and stuff like that. I suppose that makes sense. That makes it the most fair.
get ahead of yourself. You forgot about my face down card. Rise, Dimension Snake!
Oof.
Oh, I get it. Good thing we brought them all, right, Pikachu?
What do you mean, them all?
Charizard! I choose you!
Okay, this is just not fair anymore. Oh, they are bringing Solgaleo in here. Okay, that changes things.
Aha!
I don't think it's going to change things enough, but it changes things a little bit.
I'm sorry, partner. Don't worry. It's my turn now. I just need to believe in the heart of the cards.
Who's that Pokemon?
Haruxi! Goddess of Light! This is it! Magicians! Flash burning magic! Haruxi! Joser!
I would like to point out that there is the possibility, there is an argument that could be made that because of the fact that Ash helped out Mewtwo and Arceus, I know it's probably Arceus, but I pronounce it Arceus. I'm sorry. It's just that's just the way I do it. Anyway, that he could potentially have literally the two most powerful Pokemon on his side. Mewtwo, because he aided Mewtwo in trying to bring about the idea that like everything that Pokemon happens to be, it has nothing to do with the way that they're born. And the fact that he came back even after having his memories erased and saved Mewtwo from Team Rocket. And that, again, that's like the original Mewtwo. You've got the secondary Mewtwo, which is weaker, but has the Mega Evolution that you see in the Genesect movie. Like, you've got two different Mewtwo's that he could potentially have as allies. Plus, there was the movie where he saves Arceus, the god of the Pokemon universe, the one that's said to have created everything. So if those three Pokemon were factored in on this, I feel like that could have changed things. But as it stands right now, I don't see Solgaleo being the only thing that could hold back Yugi's attack. I feel like Solgaleo is going to fall, and that's going to be it for Ash, unfortunately.
Pikachu, let's finish this. Together!
Oh, what happened to the hat? Oh, it went through all of his costumes. Okay.
10 million volt thunderbolts!
You activated my trap card! Magic Cylinder!
Of course.
With it, I'll send your Thunderbolt back to attack your light points directly!
But of course, Magic Cylinder would have negated that. Even if he had, all of the temporal Pokemon, if he had Palkia, Dialga, Giratina, Arceus, both Mewtwo's, I still don't think it would have been able to stop that. And if Yugi had pulled out Mirror Force, then again, it wouldn't have mattered.
That was an awesome duel, Ash.
How do you feel about killing so many Pokemon and people? How do you feel about turning Ash to stone again? And doing the same to all of his living sentient entities? I hope you feel good about yourself, Yugi. I hope you feel good about yourself.
Oh, my childhood. Whiz, quick, I need your tears. We can save him.
There's a lot to this, so let's break it down by experience, strategy, and monsters. Starting with experience. Both Ash and Yugi have risen to the top, beating the best of the best, and traveled all over the world.
But Ash traveled more, was in more tourneys, and saved the world way more often. And
Right.
despite what people say, he wins a lot.
Even Atem's stint as the Pharaoh doesn't tip the scale since he wasn't in charge for very long. Plus, Pokemon evolve over time, literally and figuratively. While Yugi's deck is obviously adjustable, the cards are unchanging, unable to grow like Ash's Pokemon.
So Ash wins in experience, but when it comes to strategy, he's a wild card.
He's skilled at improvisation and using the environment to win. Even machines cannot comprehend his tactics.
But the same goes for Yugi. Gotta remember, Yugi and Atem's teamwork is second to none. They're masters at exploiting weaknesses, setting up tricks, and surprising foes with so-called weak cards.
Both could likely adjust to each other's unpredictability, so a Dark Horse-style win was unlikely.
But Ash's secret weapon is his bond with his Pokemon, boosting their power. I'm not just talking about Pikachu. His power of friendship invented an evolution for Greninja. That's crazy. Ash's trust in his Pokemon knows no limits.
Silly as it may sound, Yugi trusts his deck in the same way. The heart of the cards is real, and Yugi is determined to support his monster.
Gengar's original trainer claimed he caused misfortune, but this is false. Gengar's only method of cursing is his cursed body ability. Atem can bend fate and even defeated an opponent using supernaturally good luck. Again, the frickin' probability manipulation.
With spells, traps, and buffs. Look at his duels with Merrick and Paradox, where he bolstered his weaker cards to take down gods. With Ba and Ka, his bonds with his cards manifest them into reality, not so dissimilar from Ash Greninja.
Yeah, Ash has aura, but he never mastered it. And specialties like Mega Evolution and Gigantamax, while awesome, only work with specific Pokemon.
And since Ash focuses on
It is unlikely that Ash's Pokemon could overcome Yugi's attack, disabling, and redirection cards. Pokemon moves are affected by Disable, and Team Rocket's Wobbuffet regularly reflects Ash's attacks. This includes the Z moves, which have been overpowered, such as Guzma's Golisopod. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. And like, I feel like because of the fact that there are plenty of Pokemon out there, Wobbuffet being probably the most prolific, to be able to do things like Mirror Force or Magical Cylinder, it makes perfect sense that Pokemon attacks could be redirected using the equivalent in Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
offense far more than support, Yugi could control the pace of the fight with cards like Swords of Revealing Light and Magic Cylinder.
But I know some of you are asking, what if Ash threw hands? The kid's strong enough to chuck trees and lift baby gods. Just punch him, man. Well, Yugi's similarly tough, and the Millennium Puzzle can make shields, steal ghosts, cast
Ash could attempt to destroy Yugi's cards or dual disc, but Yugi has too many defenses for him to reliably do so. Yugi also requires neither to summon monsters. True, the Ka and Ba thing would allow him to do that without actually needing the physical aspects.
Illusions and mess with minds. If Ash actually tried to punch him, it'd be Mewtwo all over again.
It's a close call, but Yugi takes the edge in strategy.
So it all comes down to the monsters. Yugi had a slightly larger pool of monsters, but Ash's can clear out island-wide storms, fight terraforming beasts, and are stronger than the black hole summoning Gardevoir.
However, Yugi's can rain down meteors, compete with larger black holes,
Ash struggled against Dialga, Palkia, Mewtwo, and Lugia during journeys. Cynthia's Garchomp had her Draco Meteor easily stopped by Palkia's Spatial Rend. Even with generous scaling and favorable interpretations of Ultra Space, Yu-Gi-Oh's multiverse is infinite and contains dimensionally transcendent spaces like the Afterlife, Prana Realm, etc., surpassing Pokemon's cosmology. That is literally what I was talking about with the fact that, like, Pokemon at best could be like world destroying, like planet destroying. But with Yu-Gi-Oh, you're talking about literal cosmos. You're talking about like solar system minimum. This is the if anybody saw the fight between Ichigo and Yusuke Urameshi, this is that all over again. We're like, you've got two characters that are very similar in various ideas and concepts, but their power scaling is radically different. And like, you've got one that's obviously like, oh yeah, no, this guy could probably take out a planet or two, and maybe a solar system. This guy can take out an entire dimension. You know, that's where we're at here.
and even the mid-tier scale to Glow Neos, destroying that relativity field with a universe. And Herakti created Yu-Gi-Oh's whole multiverse, surpassing even Solgaleo's Sunsteel Strike and Dialga's Roar of Time.
And Yugi had more than just monsters on the field. Ash's strength was also his weakness. His power was evenly spread, reliant only on his remaining Pokémon.
If Mr. Mime faints, no more psychic barriers.
In Mystery Dungeon, and Gengar resurrected someone by pulling their soul out of the afterlife. Ash's Gengar has never displayed this ability. Yugi has ways of stopping resurrection, including banishment and soul destruction. This would also stop Ash from resurrecting with the Rainbow Wing. Okay.
If you lost Lucario, no more Mega Evolution, and so on. The longer the battle went, the less Pokemon Ash had, and he did not have a reliable way to bring them back. He doesn't carry revives on him, and even then, reviving Pokemon in the anime is entirely different from the games. Meanwhile, Yugi had cards like Mirage Ruler and Monster Reborn that could instantly recall powers he's lost.
And he can, you know...
An alternate version of Ash appears in Pokemon Masters EX. Including such scaling, wouldn't surpass Yugi's best feats, and it would suggest Yugi should still get Yu-Gi-Oh! Dual Link scaling, which expands his options even more. True. If you're going to start throwing in various other alternate realities, for one, you have to do that for both. I'm looking at you, Death Battle, because of the fact that, like, you did such things with Optimus Prime, but didn't do it with Megatron. And that caused a radical power shift between those two death battles.
Banned Fate to draw whatever card he wants, and we didn't even cover them all. Really, Yugi's deck has no pathetic cards.
Exactly. Yugi's versatility and power swept Ash's options, giving his monsters the lead. He just needed the right moment to knock Ash stone cold.
That was a good attempt at a pun, Wiz. You might not think it's Pharaoh, but Ash got Yugi owned.
The winner is Yugi Moto.
God damn it.
Death Battle will be back in 2026.
Okay, so that's gonna be a wrap there. I like I said, I kind of predicted that Yugi was gonna take that, but at the same time, that was still a really fun thing to experience. But this has been going on for an hour now, so I'm gonna wrap this up. Thank you for joining me. I am Mark Alpha 12, and I will see you in the next video.